شيء واقع مطلق بل كل ممكن. So it seems.
Random civilians and guards. Various. The best part about playing open world games is that it gives players the opportunity to truly feel in control. This means that wreaking havoc is certainly an option, and taking out civilians and bystanders can very well be a hilariously enjoyable experience. Although assassinating multiple innocents generally leads to desynchronization, players have still been able to have fun through creative ways. In addition, dispatching guards offers more room for trying out different tactics, with some preferring the strategic approach while others choose to fight them head-on. Players generally have to meet several conditions to complete assassinations, so going all out on guards and civilians is as close as it gets to fully unleashing the assassin's mean streak. Haytham Kenway, Assassin's Creed 3.
A temporary setback. He will be restored.
Haytham is a playable character for the first 3 sequences in Assassin's Creed 3, only for a twist to reveal that he was a Templar all along. Following this, Haytham becomes a constant thorn for players throughout the game, not even warming up to his son Connor. Things get worse when he fully intends to kill Connor to uphold the Templars' plans, at which point the player just wants to finish him off. This opportunity arrives at the climactic moment during the fight between Connor and Haytham, where Connor surprises his father with a blade right to the throat. After being forced to listen to all of Haytham's wisecracks and mocking, it's worth seeing Haytham brought down to reality to end his threat once and for all. Not to mention the badass way Connor bids his final farewell before walking away.
Still, I'm proud of you in a way. You've shown great conviction, strength, courage.
Vieri de Pazzi, Assassin's Creed 2.
Vieri, you will remain here to coordinate the mercenary. Francesco will organize our forces in the city and send word when it's time to strike.
Vieri starts out as a rival to Ezio, but their conflict becomes deeply personal when he makes numerous attempts to take Ezio's life. Vieri and his father Francesco are directly involved in the plot that claims the lives of Ezio's father and brothers, all of which only serve to amuse him. This is why it feels so cathartic to face off against Vieri, as it enables Ezio to dole out what was coming to his hated rival all along. While Vieri shows no remorse for his actions, we at least get to silence him for good. It also ushers in Ezio's lesson to respect the dead, which becomes a staple of the franchise going forward.
Hai avuto la fine che meritavi! Spero che Enough, Ezio!
Show some respect.
Jack the Ripper, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
There is a sick...
In an interesting twist, the real-life serial killer is known to be an assassin in this universe. Jack is a former protege of Jacob who becomes convinced that taking lives is the true purpose of the Creed and turns on his master. Battling him as Evie, players have to find a way to attack him discreetly, which requires a constant use of stealth and precision. It's what makes it a tough boss fight, one that can also frustrate players with its repetition. Still, successfully taking down the enemy carries a real sense of achievement, and it's particularly satisfying because it ties in with the game's narrative. Jack answers for his betrayal to Jacob and the Brotherhood, as Evie ensures history will remember him for the fiend he became.
Rest in peace now, Jack. You and your twisted acolytes.
Uberto Alberti, Assassin's Creed.
It's Al Mualim who sends me, not Salah ad-Din.
Assassin! What is the meaning of this? And be quick with it!
Unlike most of the main antagonists, Sablé doesn't have a personal rivalry with Altair. However, players can develop contempt for the villain because they have to go through a small army to get to Sablé. Using his Templar forces, Sablé makes it virtually impossible for Altair to get out alive, and we're required to mow down all the enemies to get a shot at him. Assassinating this villain means players have successfully fought off his forces by themselves, which confirms their mastery with the combat aspect of the game. Since the Sablé is the final target in a long list for Altair to assassinate, finishing his kill brings the satisfaction of completing the game's primary objective and ushers in the climax.
But now you've taken my life, and in the process, ended your own.
Uberto Alberti, Assassin's Creed 2.
You who have crowned yourself Lorenzo di Medici, Principe of Firenze.
I've done no such thing.
Of course not. Ever innocent.
As the protagonist players follow longer than any other, we're encouraged to feel attached to Ezio's heroic journey. It's why Uberto comes across as the vilest antagonist, as he betrays Ezio's family by carrying out their executions. After Ezio learns the ways of the assassin, he makes sure to track Uberto down. This sequence plays out with Ezio trailing his target, which contributes to a growing anticipation to see Ezio claim his much-needed revenge. The assassination itself carries a definitive feeling as a horrified Uberto realizes Ezio has returned to seal his fate. Tellingly, Ezio doesn't give Uberto his last rites, and fans will largely agree it was what the latter deserved. This kill goes to show that the series can satisfy players even with a lack of combat before completing an assassination.
You would have done the same to save the ones you love.
Yes, I would. And I have.
François-Thomas Germain, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Tried to make him see. But the Order had become corrupt, touching at power and privilege for their own sake.
Germain's death brings to a conclusion the hunt for the death of Arno's father figure, François de la Salle. But it's also satisfying because it finishes an arduous battle. The final boss fight requires players to keep on avoiding Germain, and it's easier said than done. The extended sequence comes to a close eventually, but at the cost of Arno's lover, Elise, which is why there's an extra conviction with which he slays his enemy. Overall, players who are invested in the story share the emotions that Arno is feeling at that moment. On the other hand, those who find the boss fight a challenge can take heart from the fact that they've overcome Germain in gameplay. Charles Lee, Assassin's Creed 3.
Take him away.
An assassination 20 years in the making within the game's plot, Charles Lee antagonizes Connor as a child, who assumes he's responsible for the death of his mother. Although Connor learns Lee wasn't the one who burned down his village, his hatred for Lee and the latter's status as the next Templar master fuels his desire to claim Lee's life. This comes to pass after Haytham's demise, with Connor chasing Lee down until there's no escape. Left with no place to hide or run, Lee accepts his fate as Connor completes the killing blow. Having followed the protagonist for 2 decades of his life, his journey feels validated when he finishes off his hated adversary. Moreover, it's interesting to see a death play out in real time, as Lee's demise removes the usual Animus corridor sequence to perish right before our eyes. Mualim, Assassin's Creed.
Destroy the betrayer! Send him from this world!
There's arguably never been as big a boss fight as the final one of the first game. Mualim reveals himself as the true villain who's fooled Altair into taking the lives of his opponents. With the Apple of Eden in hand, Mualim holds all the cards in the clash against his protege. Players need to fight off the villain's phantoms and tricks to finish Mualim off, by which point it feels like a true accomplishment. It's also rewarding since we get to hit Mualim back for all his manipulations during the game, completing Altair's turn into an assassin worthy of taking over the Creed. Not to mention the satisfaction of putting an end to Mualim's evil plans, which is the first time fans got to experience this in the series.
The student does not defeat the teacher. الشيء واقع مطلق بل كل ممكن. So it seems.
Cesare Borgia, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
How did you find it? The apple you stole from Mario Auditore, let me hear.
Even though Cesare Borgia claims the life of Ezio's uncle Mario and places all of Rome under his control, the best part about assassinating him is that Ezio finally shuts him up. Destructive, entitled, and possessing an intense flair for drama, Cesare considers himself to be immortal, claiming he can't be killed. As Ezio, we encounter him when he's flanked by his guards, where Cesare is humbled after they are disposed of and he's defeated. However, he still doesn't accept defeat and sticks to his god complex, at which point Ezio dares him to prove it by letting him fall. To his credit, Cesare continues to believe his delusions as he dies, but players get that sweet taste of success for eliminating Ezio's hated rival.
You cannot kill me! No man can murder me!
Then I leave you in the hands of fate.
Check out these other great clips from Mojo Plays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.